Hi everyone, and welcome to the weekly predictions based on astrology for the week of February 1st, 2022. For the stock market, I believe this is going to be a down week overall. On Tuesday, down influence is going to be stronger in the first half of the day, and on Friday, it's going to be stronger towards the end of the day. Thursday the 24th looks like the most challenging day of the week because we will have many transits becoming exact on that day. Expect rapid-fire news, changing circumstances, and increased market volatility. Now let's go over the highlights for this week. Since February 5, we have been experiencing an ongoing conjunction between Venus and Mars in the sign of Capricorn. It will continue through March 16 and will bring increased focus on the value of and profits from various areas related to Mars. This includes weapons deals, gun sales, and various contracts related to weapons, military, and sports. Expect increased news about profits related to sports, such as from the sales of athletic equipment, deals and payments made to coaches and athletes, as well as sales of things like race cars or any equipment that may be used for risky and dangerous activities. The same goes for weapons deals or gun sales. For example, a famous fighter makes news by being paid a larger than usual reward, or there is larger than usual weapons contract or gun sales go up. With Venus and Mars being conjunct in Capricorn, the sign of government and corporations, we may also hear about increased regulations concerning weapons, sports, or any sort of risky and dangerous activities. For example, we can hear about who can buy what kind of weapons under which circumstances, or how athletes should be compensated. In fact, just earlier today, I've seen news that US soccer and women's national team players settled a lawsuit about equal pay for $24 million. So this is just one example of the manifestation of Mars conjuncting Venus, which of course Venus relates to women and money, and Mars has to do with sports. Expect similar announcements to be prominent in the news through about March 16th, and in fact things will heat up at the end of February through early March when Venus and Mars will be joined by Pluto in the Capricorn. At that time, some secrets or hidden financial deals may be uncovered. We may hear about underhanded activities, financial fraud, blackmail, or financial manipulations related to sports, military, and weapons deals. Since Pluto rules things like major transformations, death and rebirth, we may also expect increased news about prominent athletes, especially female athletes, and military leaders, where they may be going through some major transformations or perhaps involved in some dangerous situations. Other areas that may also see increased profits or increased value through March 16th include IT, high-tech, electronics, telecommunications, power energy companies, electric vehicles, chips, as well as financial sector entities that heavily use advanced technologies or are involved in cryptocurrencies. Weather-wise, at this time we may see higher than usual wind speeds, which may produce damaging storms or cause fires. Wednesday through Friday of this week may see surprising or unexpected news related to IT, telecommunications, airplanes, airborne vehicles, drones, rockets, and cryptocurrencies. For example, there may be unexpected power or service outages, increased crypto volatility, drone crashes, rocket strikes, or aircraft malfunction. The events may stop as abruptly as they have begun. For example, the service goes down but then is quickly restored. Flights are suspended and then they quickly resume. A postponed contract is suddenly signed. A cancelled meeting is scheduled back on. A cancelled strike is unexpectedly carried out, or a scheduled strike is suddenly called off. In general, at this time, I expect increase in concerning news related to IT, telecoms, electronic vehicles, power plants, airlines, and airspace. We may hear about sudden problems related to communication, transportation, cancellation of flights, loss of value, loss of service. There may also be surprising contracts, or previous contracts may unexpectedly be cancelled. The problems may stem from too many unexpected changes, lack of stability, slow speed, or lack of advanced technology. For example, an important contract falls through because one of the parties hasn't sufficiently upgraded their technology. Or a contract is reached but the payment can't go through because the technology or some app is outdated. There may also be increased problems for crypto or for digital assets, such as a payment can't go through or somebody can't access their money, perhaps again because technology has been outdated or a service is down. Weather-wise, again at this time we may hear about strong winds, damaging storms, increased probability of fires, and this of course may negatively affect air travel. Now let's look at the US and China specific news based on the transits to their natal charts. February 24th through March 4th is going to be an opportune time for US leaders and prominent figures such as politicians, celebrities, actors, CEOs, etc. At this time, it will be easier for them to expand their influence, gain prominence, or receive favorable legal outcomes. This time is also favorable for long-distance transportation, travel, and shipments. Some laws may be passed to facilitate these areas, or some restrictions may be lifted. More generally, at this time, more laws or regulations may be passed, and they can be bipartisan because everyone agrees on the proposed laws or there's very little opposition. Similarly, this is a favorable time for appointing judges or other legal staff because most likely these people will be very well liked and there will be very little opposition. On February 22nd, I expect positive news for IT, telecoms, social media, high-speed communications, airlines, and other innovative and high-tech projects. This includes opportunities for new contracts or increased sales of related products and services. Agreements and deals may move faster than usual at this time. Partners are more likely to see eye to eye, and transactions may go through more easily. For example, we may hear that the sales of some high-tech device or electronic vehicles have increased, or that a contract was signed to deliver some high-tech aerospace equipment. February 24th through the 28th may see upsetting events or unfavorable circumstances for reaching contracts, reaching deals, communication, negotiations, or for retail sales and commerce. There may be some difficult negotiations or fighting over a sale, contract, or an agreement, especially those involving communication and transportations. Sales of related products and services such as cars or phones may go down. Additionally, there may be increased news about transportation accidents, rude or aggressive communications, or fighting among parties that are involved in some contract. Some prominent person may be featured in the news due to their rude or aggressive behavior, such as being rude to a flight attendant on the trip. This is not a favorable time for reaching agreements, especially those related to transportation and communications, perhaps like sale of a car or negotiating some transaction involving airlines. At this time, parties may be more aggressive or less likely to reach an agreement. For China, February 7th through March 9th may see increased news about finance, currencies, lending, rates, debt, and perhaps even financial reforms. There is also an increased chance of an industrial accident, strong earthquake, or some other difficult circumstance. These may involve flooding, spread of some pollution, an outbreak of infectious disease, or some other problems involving chemicals, pharmaceuticals, oil, and gas. When looking at events that had occurred in China under similar transits to its chart in the past, we find instances of industrial accidents, large explosions, whether it's planned or not, stampede, and major floods. At the same time, there will likely be tensions with partners, fighting over deals, disagreements and negotiations, intensified arms race, and increase in military threats and activities. Or alternatively, mobilization of the military to assist victims of the natural disaster. As I mentioned in my video that reviewed key trends for 2022, this year Jupiter is going to be transiting through Pisces from the end of December of 2021 through May 10th, and then it will go back into Pisces from October 28th through December 20th. I expect the price of oil and gas to increase in the weeks preceding the exact conjunction of Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces that will occur on April the 12th. With that, I think that the price of oil and gas will continue to increase, especially in the end of March through about early to mid-April. And it will then turn back down in the second part of April and especially starting in the second half of May when Jupiter enters Aries. I think that the drop in oil and gas prices will be related to excessive inventory of oil and gas that will build up sometime in mid-April. Jupiter's transit through Pisces will also likely bring news about excessive precipitation, major floods, and activities involving navy, ships, fishing, undersea cables, anything related to water as well as chemicals. With this, I'm going to wrap this up and have a fantastic week. Catch you next time.